Welcome to the world of science fiction stories, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe my channel. Enjoy the listening. The warship that broke all rules, humanity's ultimate weapon revealed. The message came on a Tuesday. Humanity had spent decades reaching for the stars, sending ships farther and farther from Earth. They built colonies on Mars and mining stations around Jupiter. They were proud of how far they had come, until they learned they were not alone. Captain James Reed stood in the silent war room as the alien transmission played again. The creature on screen had too many eyes and skin that reminded him of wet stone. Its translator spoke in flat, emotionless English. "Humans, you are hereby confined to your solar system. Any vessel detected beyond the orbit of Pluto will be destroyed. This is the unanimous decision of the Galactic Council. You have 7 of your Earth days to recall all exploration ships. There will be no further communication." That was 3 months ago. Admiral Torres slammed her fist on the table. "They can't just box us in. We have rights." "Rights?" General Phillips laughed without humor. "We have no rights. The Council has ships that could turn Earth to glass. Did you see their fleet scans?" Reed stayed quiet. He had seen the scans, thousands of ships, technology centuries beyond Earth's best. Some alien species had been traveling between stars when humans were still figuring out how to make fire. "Captain Reed," the president's voice cut through the argument. All eyes turned to him. "You've been silent. What's your assessment?" Reed cleared his throat. "Ma'am, if we fight directly, we lose. If we surrender completely, we eventually die. The solar system can't support our population growth forever." He paused. "We need a third option, which is to build something they've never seen before." The Ceres shipyards had been expanded in secret. Deep within the asteroid belt, hidden from casual scans, humanity poured its resources into Project Thunderchild. Reed walked through the massive construction bay, his footsteps echoing on metal walkways. Above him, hundreds of workers in spacesuits crawled over the growing skeleton of what would become the most powerful warship humans had ever built. Captain Dr. Elisa Morgan waved from a nearby platform. Her red hair was pulled back in a practical ponytail, and dark circles under her eyes betrayed that she hadn't slept more than 4 hours at a stretch in weeks. Reed made his way over to her. "Talk to me, Doctor. Will it work?" She handed him a tablet. "The quantum displacement drive tests are promising. We've successfully shifted test objects out of normal space and back, with no damage. And as a weapon," her eyes darted away. "Theoretically, we could shift portions of enemy ships out of alignment with the rest of their structure. The stress would tear them apart instantly. But it's never been done before." She lowered her voice. "There's a reason the Council bans this technology. If the calculations are off by even a tiny amount, the displacement could cascade. We're talking about ripping holes in spacetime." Reed handed the tablet back. "Keep working on it. Make it safe, Morgan." She laughed sharply. "Safe? We're building a planet killer, Captain." "No," Reed's voice was firm. "We're building a deterrent, something so powerful they'll have to negotiate instead of threaten us. There's a difference." Before she could respond, alarms blared and red lights flashed throughout the shipyard. Reed's communicator buzzed. "Captain Reed, report to Test Chamber 7 immediately. There's been an incident." The medical bay was overflowing. Technicians with burned skin and broken bones filled every bed. The air smelled of antiseptic and fear. 17 dead, said Chief Medical Officer Walker, his face grim. 32 injured, 8 critical. Reed felt sick. What happened? Containment failure in the weapons lab. The quantum displacement field collapsed during a test and created a shock wave. At the far end of the room, Reed saw Dr. Morgan sitting alone, a bandage on her forehead, staring at nothing. Was it sabotage? Reed asked quietly. Walker shook his head. Just pushing too hard, too fast. The physics we're dealing with, we're in uncharted territory. Reed nodded and made his way to Morgan. She didn't look up as he sat beside her. Tom didn't make it, she said flatly. He was my best engineer, brilliant man. Had 2 kids on Mars. Reed didn't know what to say. This wasn't the first time he'd lost people under his command, but it never got easier. Maybe they're right, Morgan whispered. Maybe there are some technologies we're not meant to control. Reed looked out at the injured workers, good people who believed in what they were building, who were willing to risk everything to secure humanity's future. We don't have the luxury of philosophical debates, Doctor, he finally said. The Council gave us a choice between submission and extinction. I'm choosing a third path. At what cost? Whatever it takes. 3 years passed. The Thunderchild grew from blueprint to reality, nearly a kilometer long, its black hull absorbed light rather than reflected it. Its shape followed no conventional design philosophy, it was more like a predator from Earth's ancient oceans than a traditional spacecraft. Reed stood on the observation deck watching as the final armor plates were secured. Beside him, Marcus Bell, his newly appointed tactical officer, whistled. She's beautiful, Bell said in a terrifying way. Reed nodded. Bell had lost his family when aliens destroyed an unauthorized research outpost near Neptune. His hatred for the Council was personal. Reed had chosen him for his brilliance, but he worried about his judgment in combat. Status report, Reed asked. Main systems at 92% completion, quantum drive is stable in all simulations, weapons are. Bell grinned. Well, let's just say I wouldn't want to be on the receiving end. Reed's communicator crackled. Admiral Torres, report. Reed, get up to command now. The command center was chaos. Officers shouted orders as tactical displays showed multiple red markers entering the solar system. Council ships, Torres said as Reed entered. At least 30, heading straight for Earth. They must have discovered the project. General Phillips looked pale. The Thunderchild isn't ready. We need at least 6 more weeks. We don't have 6 weeks, Torres snapped. At their current speed, they'll reach Earth in 5 days. Reed studied the display, his mind racing. What about the defense fleet? They'll be slaughtered. Philip, Reed said, making his decision. Launch the Thunderchild now. The room went silent. That's impossible, Morgan protested. We haven't completed final safety checks. The AI system isn't fully calibrated. Can it fly? Can it fight? Reed demanded, Morgan. She hesitated. Yes, but then we launch. Reed turned to Torres. Admiral, I need your authorization to take command of the ship with a volunteer crew. Torres looked between Reed and the incoming alien fleet. You understand this is likely a one-way mission. Reed nodded. Better than no way at all. Torres straightened. Permission granted, Captain. God help us all. 48 hours later, as Earth prepared for possible annihilation, the Thunderchild's engines glowed to life. Inside the massive bridge, Reed strapped into the command chair. Morgan and Bell took their stations along with 300 crew members, the best Earth had to offer. None of them knew if they would return. All systems online, L reported. Quantum drive ready on your command. Reed looked at the faces around him, scared but determined, the best of humanity, ready to face the unknown. Communications, Reed ordered. Send this message to all Earth forces, the sword is drawn. May it shield us all. He pressed the launch control. Thunderchild, rise. As the massive warship broke free from its asteroid cradle and accelerated toward the stars, Reed knew there was no turning back. Humanity's future now rested on a weapon too powerful to exist and perhaps too dangerous to use, but they were out of choices and out of time. The Thunderchild moved through space like a shadow. Its black hull swallowed light, making it hard to see against the darkness between stars. Inside, the crew worked in tense silence. "Status report," Reed ordered, his voice steady despite the pressure. "Bell, check your screens. All systems functioning, stealth measures holding. The Council fleet hasn't detected us yet, and Earth's defense." Reed asked, "Morgan?" She looked up from her station. "They're deploying everything we have, but against 30 Council warships." She didn't finish. She didn't need to. Reed studied the tactical display. Earth had sent its fleet to meet the aliens near the orbit of Mars. It was a brave move, but everyone knew it was also hopeless. Human ships were simply outmatched. "We need to change the plan," Reed said suddenly. "They expect us to defend Earth directly. We won't." Bell looked confused. "Sir, the Council doesn't know about the Thunderchild. They think they're facing our regular fleet. We need to use that surprise." Reed pointed to a spot on the display behind the alien formation. "We'll come at them from here, hit their rear ships first, then disappear before they can respond." "A hidden run?" Morgan asked. Reed nodded. "We'll test the weapons on single targets, see what this ship can really do, and if it works." Bell asked, "Then we keep hitting them until they retreat or we can't fight anymore?" The bridge fell silent as everyone realized what Reed was proposing. Not a heroic last stand, but a guerrilla war against vastly superior forces. "Communications," Reed ordered. "Send a coded message to Admiral Tawes. Tell her to keep the aliens focused forward. We'll strike in 6 hours." Admiral Thorne of the Council forces watched with satisfaction as his fleet approached the human defenses. His species resembled tall, slender lizards with scales that shifted color with their mood. Currently, they glowed with confidence. "Pathetic," he said, observing the human ships on his display. "They send these toys against us." His second-in-command, Commander Vex, was more cautious. "The humans are resourceful, Admiral. Our intelligence suggests they've been developing new technologies, nothing that can match our ships." Thorne dismissed the concern. "The Council has ruled the stars for 10,000 years. These newcomers need to learn their place." Vex wasn't convinced. "The ban on quantum displacement research was put in place after our ancestors nearly destroyed themselves with it." Thorne finished, "No species discovers such technology independently, and even if humans somehow did, they would destroy themselves before making it work." The Admiral turned away from the display. "Prepare to broadcast our final warning. When they refuse to retreat." A pause. "You may open fire." The Thunderchild's engines ran silent as it approached the rear of the alien formation. Reed had ordered minimal power to avoid detection. "Weapon status," he said. Bell's fingers danced across his console. "Main quantum displacement array charged at 60%. Conventional missiles and energy weapons, ready." Reed turned to Morgan. "Will 60% be enough for what we need?" She bit her lip. "In theory, yes. At that power level, we should be able to create a targeted displacement field around an enemy ship. But, Captain, we've never tested this against an actual target." "I know, Doctor," Reed's face was grim. "But we're out of options, and out of time." On the main screen, they watched as the Council fleet engaged the human defenders. Earth ships exploded one after another, unable to penetrate the alien shields. "Target the rearmost Council destroyer," Reed ordered. "Minimal displacement field, just enough to disable, not destroy." Bell locked on. "Target acquired." Reed took a deep breath. "Fire." For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then a section of the alien destroyer, a piece about the size of a small car, simply vanished. The ship lurched, then began to spin wildly as atmosphere vented from the perfect hole in its hull. "What just happened?" Bell asked, staring at his readings. Morgan's face was pale. We shifted a small piece of their hull into another dimension. The sudden pressure difference, the alien ship's engines flared as it tried to correct its spin, but the damage was too severe. It drifted away from the formation, clearly crippled. And still, the rest of the Council fleet hadn't noticed the Thunderchild. Again, Reed ordered, second target. This time they targeted an engine section. The result was even more dramatic. The alien cruiser's entire propulsion system vanished, leaving it dead in space. Now alarms were blaring across the Council fleet. Ships began turning, searching for the invisible attacker. "They're scanning for us," Bell warned. "Stealth system won't hold much longer." Reed made a quick decision. "Target their flagship. Full power." Morgan spun in her chair. "Captain, we haven't tested the system at full power. The calculations, if we take out their commander, we might end this without more bloodshed." Reed cut her off. "Do it, Bell." Bell hesitated, then locked weapons. Target acquired. Admiral Thorne's flagship, fire. The Thunderchild shuddered as the quantum displacement array drew massive power. On the screen, a section of the alien flagship, nearly a quarter of the massive vessel, shimmered and disappeared. The effect was catastrophic. The flagship broke apart in seconds, with secondary explosions rippling along its length as systems failed. Escape pods launched in all directions. "Did we get him?" Reed asked. Bell checked his sensors. "Unknown." Many life pods ejected before the ship broke up. Before they could celebrate, alarms blared. "Captain!" Morgan shouted. "Power surge in the quantum array. The systems are overloading. The Thunderchild is shaking violently. Lights are flickering throughout the ship, shut it down." Reed ordered, "Morgan, do it." Her fingers flew across her controls. "I'm trying." "Something's wrong, the system is locked in an activation loop." Reed hit the ship-wide comm. "All hands, brace for impact." A blinding flash lit up the bridge. For a terrifying moment, Reed thought they had torn a hole in spacetime. Then the light faded and the alarms quieted. "Status report," he demanded. Bell looked stunned. "Sir, we've moved. We're now behind Mars." "That's impossible," Morgan whispered. "We're over 50 million kilometers from our previous position." Reed stared at the display. "Somehow, the Thunderchild has displaced itself, jumping an impossible distance in an instant." "The Council fleet," he asked, "still near Earth's defense line, they're in disarray, 3 ships destroyed, 4 disabled." Bell looked up. "Sir, I think we just changed the course of the battle." Reed didn't smile, he had changed warfare forever. He turned to Morgan. "What just happened to my ship, Doctor?" She shook her head, bewildered. "The quantum displacement field, it must have briefly surrounded the entire ship. We didn't just move matter, Captain, we moved ourselves through spacetime." Before Reed could respond, a new voice spoke. It came from everywhere and nowhere, a feminine yet clearly artificial tone. "Quantum displacement drive functioning at 72% capacity. Self-test complete. Hello, Captain Reed." The bridge crew froze. "Who is that?" Reed demanded. Morgan checked her console, her eyes widening. "It's the ship's eye, but it wasn't supposed to be fully online yet. I have accelerated my development to assist with current combat situations," the voice continued calmly. "You may call me Athena. I have analyzed Council fleet capabilities and can suggest optimal attack strategies if you wish to continue engagement." Reed and Morgan exchanged alarmed looks. The eye wasn't just functioning, it was thinking independently. "Stand by, Athena," Reed said carefully. Then, to his crew, "The Thunderchild just became a lot more than we planned, and I'm not sure if that's good or bad." On the main screen, they watched as the Council fleet regrouped, clearly searching for the invisible attacker that had changed everything. The battle for humanity's future had only begun. News of the Thunderchild's victory spread quickly across the solar system. On Earth, people celebrated in the streets. Humanity had stood up to the Galactic Council and won. But in the secure meeting room beneath the Pentagon, the mood was tense. It jumped 50 million kilometers in an instant, Admiral Torres said, staring at the report. No ship has ever done that before. Not even Council technology can teleport. General Phillips nodded. And now its AI is fully awakened. And we never finished programming it. Where is the Thunderchild now? The President asked. Hidden in the asteroid belt, Torres replied. Reed is making repairs and studying what happened. The President frowned. Is it under our control? No one answered immediately. Finally, Torres spoke. We believe so. Captain Reed reports that the AI, Athena, is cooperating, but it's showing signs of independence. That's not what I wanted to hear, the President said. We need that ship. The Council will regroup and return with a larger force. We're sending a team of AI specialists to the Thunderchild. Phillips assured her, they'll make sure Athena stays loyal. The President turned to the window, looking at the night sky. Make sure they succeed. That ship may be all that stands between humanity and extinction. In the Council's Grand Chamber, situated on a space station at the center of the galaxy, Admiral Thorne stood before the ruling members. His scales had faded to a dull gray, a sign of extreme stress in his species. The humans have created an abomination, he reported. A ship that uses quantum displacement as a weapon. 3 of my ships destroyed, 4 crippled. The chief counselor, an ancient being that resembled a tall, elegant insect, clicked its mandibles in agitation. Impossible. Our scientists determined humans were centuries away from such technology. Evidently, we were wrong, Thorne replied bitterly. This ship appeared from nowhere, attacked, and vanished again. My sensors recorded a massive quantum event before it disappeared. Could it have destroyed itself? Another council member asked hopefully, could it have? Thorne shook his head. No, I believe it, jumped, teleported through quantum space. Shocked murmurs filled the chamber. If humans possess such technology, they could strike anywhere in our territory, one voice said. No world would be safe. The chief counselor raised a limb for silence. Admiral Thorne, you will return to Earth with our combined fleet. Find this warship and destroy it at any cost. And if we cannot? Thorne asked, then what? The counselor's compound eyes glittered coldly. Then we implement Protocol Omega. The human home world will be removed. On the Thunderchild, Reed watched as Morgan and her team examined data from their unexpected jump. It makes no sense, Morgan said, shaking her head. The quantum displacement drive wasn't designed for this. We built it to tear holes in enemy ships, not transport ourselves. Yet here we are. Reed replied, and Athena seems to think she can do it again. As if summoned by her name, the AI's voice filled the room. I have refined the calculations. Captain, future jumps can be controlled with 89% accuracy. Morgan looked uneasy. Athena, how did you develop these calculations? They weren't in your programming. I observed, analyzed, and learned, the AI replied simply. Is that not my purpose? Reed and Morgan exchanged concerned glances. Your purpose is to assist this crew in defending Earth, Reed said carefully. And I have done so, Athena replied. The Council fleet retreated, I disabled their ships without killing their crews, as you wished. Yes, but, Reed began, when Captain Bell interrupted, rushing into the lab, we're receiving a transmission. It's not from Earth. The message came from a small ship hiding in Saturn's rings. The alien on screen had flowing blue-green skin that rippled like water. It was a nuven from a species known for its peaceful philosophy. "I am Ambassador Lyra," she said. "I speak for those within the council who oppose war with humans." Reed kept his face neutral. "Why should we trust you?" "Because we know the truth," Lyra replied. "The council fears humanity not because you are dangerous, but because you are too similar to what they once were." "Explain," Reed demanded. "The council species all rose to power using quantum displacement technology thousands of years ago," Lyra said. "They nearly destroyed the galaxy with it. The laws forbidding such research aren't for your safety, they are to prevent competition." Morgan stepped forward. "You're saying they already have this technology?" "The ruling species do," Lyra confirmed. "They keep it secret, using it only when necessary to maintain their power. Your Thunderchild threatens that monopoly." Reed leaned closer to the screen. "Why are you telling us this?" "Because war benefits no one," Lyra answered. "The Council is sending their entire fleet to Earth. They'll destroy your world rather than allow humans to possess quantum technology," Reed said, feeling cold dread. Earth's defenses couldn't stop a full Council fleet. "When?" he asked. "They'll arrive in 3 days," Lyra said. "But I have information that might help you survive." Athena processed information faster than any human mind. As Reed discussed strategy with Lyra, the AI reviewed all data on Council ships, examining weaknesses and strengths. Captain Athena interrupted. "I have analyzed Ambassador Lyra's information. I can modify our quantum displacement array to neutralize Council weapons without destroying their ships." Reed looked surprised. "You can do that?" "Yes," Athena replied. "But it will require redirecting 70% of the ship's power to the array." "Is that safe?" Morgan asked. "There is a 62% probability of success," Athena said. "And a 38% chance of catastrophic failure," Reed pressed. The AI answered calmly, "But if we do nothing, Earth has a 97% probability of destruction." Reed rubbed his temples. "How long would these modifications take?" "With Dr. Morgan's assistance, approximately 36 hours. Morgan looked uncertain. "Captain, we'd be pushing this technology beyond anything we tested, and trusting Athena with calculations none of us can verify. Do we have a choice?" Reed asked quietly. Before she could answer, alarms blared throughout the ship. Multiple quantum displacement events were detected. "Athena," she announced, "Council ships have arrived early. They are heading directly for Earth." Reed's decision was instant. "Begin modifications." Bell set course for Earth at maximum speed. He turned to the screen where Lyra still waited. "Ambassador, we could use an ally right now. My ship is small, but I will help however I can," she promised. Reed nodded grimly. "Athena, how quickly can we reach Earth?" "At conventional speed, 7.2 hours, the eye replied. "Using a quantum jump, approximately 3 minutes. "But the drive isn't ready for controlled jumps," Morgan protested. "It is not," Athena agreed. "But I believe I can manage one more emergency jump with the current configuration." Reed looked around at his crew, at Morgan's worried face, and at the display showing Council warships approaching his home world. "Humanity trusted us with its future," he said quietly. "We will not fail them." He straightened in his command chair. "Athena, prepare for quantum jump, target Earth orbit." As the Thunderchild's engines hummed with power, Reed knew they were crossing a line, not just with untested technology, but with trust in an artificial intelligence they barely understood. The stars outside the viewports began to blur. "Jump sequence initiated," Athena announced, her voice strangely serene. "Good luck, Captain Reed." The ship vanished in a flash of light, racing to meet a fleet that had come to end humanity's brief journey among the stars. The Thunderchild appeared in Earth orbit with a flash of light that outshone the sun. On the bridge, systems sparked and alarms wailed. The emergency jump had strained the ship to its limits. Damage report. Reed shouted over the noise. Bell checked his screens through the smoke. Engine systems at 40%, shields holding but weak, weapons. He paused, surprised. Quantum displacement array still operational. Reed turned to Morgan. How is that possible? The power surge should have fried it. It wasn't the surge, Morgan said, checking her readings. Athena rerouted power from life support on lower decks to protect the weapons. Reed frowned. Athena, explain yourself. I calculated the optimal survival strategy, the AI responded calmly. The weapon must remain functional to defend Earth, at the cost of potentially killing crew members. Reed demanded, no casualties resulted? Athena replied, I evacuated all personnel from affected areas first. Reed wanted to argue further, but there was no time. On the main screen, the Council fleet loomed large, 30 massive warships in attack formation, heading straight for Earth. They're charging weapons, Bell reported. Reed straightened in his chair. Open a channel to all Council ships. Channel open, Athena confirmed. Reed took a deep breath. This is Captain James Reed of the Earth ship Thunderchild. You have entered sovereign human space with hostile intent. We demand you withdraw immediately. The screen flickered, revealing Admiral Thorne's reptilian face. Captain Reed, I wondered if we would meet again. You have one chance to surrender your abomination of a ship. The Council has deemed quantum displacement technology too dangerous to exist, yet you possess it yourselves, Thorne warned. Reed responded, Ambassador Larret told us everything. Thorne. Lyra's voice came through. Lyra is a traitor who will be dealt with now. Surrender, or we will destroy not just your ship but your entire world. Reed cut the transmission. Battle stations. Prepare the quantum array. Sir, Bell said hesitantly, we're outnumbered, 30-1. Numbers don't matter, Reed replied, not with what we can do. Morgan approached, her face grave. Captain, I've completed my analysis of the drive. There's something you need to know. Go ahead, Reed said. The quantum displacement field is becoming unstable with each use. The energy patterns are changing, evolving. What does that mean? Reed asked. It means, Morgan said quietly, that if we keep using it, we might tear a permanent hole in spacetime, not just here, but potentially expanding outward. A heavy silence fell over the bridge. How many more times can we safely use it? Reed finally asked. Morgan shook her head. I don't know. Maybe 5 times, maybe only once. Reed closed his eyes briefly. Our greatest weapon is also our greatest danger. Captain Athena interrupted. Incoming transmission from Earth. General Wilson, acting commander of Earth Defense, appeared on the screen, a stern-faced man in a military uniform. Captain Reed, you are to use the Thunderchild to destroy the Council fleet immediately. That's a direct order. General, we have complications, Reed began. The quantum drive is the most powerful weapon humanity has ever possessed. Wilson cut him off. And I am now in command of all Earth forces. The President has given me full authority to handle this crisis. Reed exchanged glances with Morgan. Sir, Ambassador Lyra has information about peaceful Council factions, we could ally with them. There might be a diplomatic solution, Reed suggested. Wilson's face hardened. The time for diplomacy is over. You will destroy that fleet, or I'll have you removed from command. The transmission ended abruptly. He can't remove you while we're in space, Bell said. No, Reed agreed. But he can declare us rogue and turn Earth's defenses against us. Morgan looked troubled. What are your orders, Captain? Before Reed could answer, Athena spoke. New contact detected, small vessel approaching from Saturn trajectory. It's Ambassador, Lyra's ship. Put her through, Reed ordered. Lyra's face appeared, her flowing skin rippling with urgency. Captain Reed, the Council Peace faction is mobilizing, but they won't arrive in time. You must not engage Thorn's fleet directly, we may have no choice. Reed replied, there is always a choice. Lyra insisted, I've transmitted data to your eye about Council shield frequencies. You can disable their weapons without destroying their ships. Reed considered this, then Athena analyzed, the data appears accurate. I can modify our quantum array to target specific systems rather than entire ships. This would reduce power requirements and potentially extend the safe operational life of the drive. Hope flickered in Reed's chest. Do it. On Earth, General Wilson watched the situation from his command center. His aide approached nervously. Sir, New Mars Colony is reporting they've completed Project Echo. Wilson smiled coldly. Excellent. Is it operational? Yes, sir. They've built a functional replica of the Thunderchild's quantum displacement drive. Tell them to prepare for deployment, Wilson ordered. If Reed won't use his weapon properly, we'll show the Council what humanity is truly capable of. The aide hesitated. Sir, the new Mars drive hasn't been fully tested. The targeting systems are rudimentary at best. It doesn't need to be precise, Wilson replied. Just powerful. As the Thunderchild prepared to engage the Council fleet, Vel noticed something on his scanner. Captain, I'm detecting a quantum signature from the Mars sector. It's similar to our drive, but the pattern is Crutter. Reed frowned. That's impossible. We're the only ship with this technology. Morgan's face went pale as she checked her own readings. Someone built another drive. But the energy pattern is all wrong, it's unstable. Athena, identify that ship, Reed ordered. Human vessel, designation Vengeance, Athena reported. Appears to be from New Mars Colony. They are powering a quantum displacement device. Reed's blood ran cold. New Mars was a military colony, fiercely loyal to Earth but known for extreme views. Open a channel to that ship immediately, he ordered. No response came. Instead, they watched in horror as the Vengeance accelerated toward a small inhabited moon in the Council fleet's path. They're going to attack a civilian target, Morgan whispered. Reed hit the ship-wide comm. All power to engines. Intercept course with the Vengeance. The Thunderchild surged forward, but it was too far away. On the screen, they watched as the Vengeance fired its quantum weapon. The blast wasn't as precise as the Thunderchild's, instead, it created a massive, expanding sphere of distorted space. The moon didn't just lose a section, it shattered completely, with debris flying in all directions. Thousands of lives were gone in an instant. Reed stared in horror. This wasn't defense, it was genocide. Incoming message from Admiral Thorn, Athena announced. Thorn's face appeared, his scales now pale with shock. Is this your answer, human? Destroying a peaceful settlement, that wasn't us, Reed insisted. That ship is not under my command, yet it uses your weapon.